Another episode of the More Minute. I know it's been a couple years since I've said that, but I'm so excited to be back. And I'm shifting focuses onto data ready AI and really the great innovation that's happening in the data and databases space. And in this episode and in my next several, I'm going to walk you through this powerful tool called WatsonX.data. And this is really about understanding that data is the center of any enterprise AI strategy, and being able to unlock the value of your data for AI is critical. And that's done with a Lakehouse approach that really allows you unified access to your data wherever it may live, allowing for multi-engine interoperability and how you can access and query and do analytics on that data, being aligned with an open ecosystem and governance, so you're not locked into a single vendor, allowing for hybrid deployments both on-prem and cloud, and integrating Gen AI development and data fabric. And WatsonX.data is that hybrid open data lakehouse that is used to really power AI and analytics with your data anywhere it resides. And in this episode, I really want to walk you through a quick kind of crash course of the X.data platform. I want to dive directly in. I'm going to share with you three unique views in WatsonX.data, starting with the infrastructure manager, the data manager, the query workspace, and then the access control page. And I'm going to walk through what each of those views are, what you can do in them, and why they matter for an enterprise that's really looking to leverage data ready AI. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the demo. I am so happy to be back and expect more videos from me soon. Here, so you can see here the infrastructure components, all of the recent tables, as well as some recent queries, saved workloads. And I really want to take you through some of the key features of WatsonX.data that will be most relevant. And I'll start with the infrastructure manager view, which is here on the left-hand side. What's unique about WatsonX.data is that we really allow for more openness and flexibility through separating out the storage and the compute layers. So here under storage, you can see I've connected Milvus, Hive, Iceberg, as well as some databases, DB2, Postgres, and then we have the separate extraction layer that is the metadata and engines as well. And these are specifically our query engines. So what's really built for WatsonX.data is allowing it to be simple yet powerful as a web interface, managing infrastructure components. As you can see here, the engines, the catalogs, the buckets, the databases, and tables. It also includes Presto, which I really wanted to highlight for all of your BI workloads, which is this next generation open source SQL engine designed to run efficiently in data lakes and data warehouses. And X.data leverages low cost object storage as opposed to the more expensive block storage used in traditional warehouses. It also allows you to create, pause, resume, remove, scale up and down workloads and query engines as needed. Can even add additional infrastructure here by clicking the add component. And here you can see several catalogs, storage, databases, that all of which WatsonX.data supports. So if we wanted to add in, for example, a MongoDB, or actually let's choose a Postgres. I think that'll be more relevant based on what we talked about. You can see here, you simply put in all of the information and then you can connect this. I've already done this, so I won't do this again. And I added in DB2 in preparation for this demo, so you can see a little bit more about what's the database, what is the ID, when was it created, what's the host, as well as Postgres as the SQL database. And so when it's created, and I'm looking specifically at Postgres, it will automatically, as I mentioned, create the metadata layer. And from there, you get to connect the specific metadata layer to whatever engine is most relevant. As I mentioned, Spark is also, and several other engines are supported, but for this use case, I really wanted to talk about Presto. So here you can go to this this left button here, Manage Associations, and add it to Presto. And so here you can see that now this is tied in, and through Presto, we can now query both DB2 as well as this Postgres catalog, which was created, as well as Iceberg, Hive, several other data formats as well. Continuing on, I want to go into the database manager tab so we can see all of this information both in the infrastructure manager view and icons. We can also list this in the list view, seeing all the different engines, all of the different catalogs, all of the different storages and databases. We can dive deeper, going back to the map view, dive deeper in the data manager view where we can see all of those catalogs and dig deeper into the actual data that's stored within. Looking at the Iceberg schema, we can go in and look at a specific schema that I created. This was a certain ID specific category. So you can see what are the different columns here, what are the data types, what are the names, the values, can even understand a little bit more and see what are some of the sample data. We can look at what was the specific data definition language that created this, as well as with Iceberg, we support time travel, which is really great for, think of your regulation, think of the reporting, which you know as a financial institution is a major undertaking. So you can understand snapshots of your data, all the times it was edited. You can even roll back to specific versions of this data. So although this isn't the key focus of the demo, I really wanted to highlight this specifically given the regulations. Moving on to the query workspace, you can connect Presto and leverage the Presto query engine. You can use Presto in the command line interface, and Watson Data also supports a query workspace as well, where you can type in SQL directly here, which I will do a little bit later. Can even understand all of your query history again, which is really important for the reporting. And you can even see additional details and open queries, export this entire query report into a CSV, etc. You also have access control, which I know is incredibly important to you. You have the ability to set different access controls for all of the different infrastructures that you connect into watsonx.data. I've done this quickly here with a test user, and so you can see that this policy has been created. You can go in and understand a little bit more of what this user specifically has access to, and it's really just the one data object within the Iceberg data set. This is just an example. You can, of course, make this as complex as needed to suit needs.